Hi, I thought I'd do a follow-up video for the card programmer. I've not really done anything with designing the new one, but that's about to change. I've now found a hack space where I can go along and make a mess and not get moaned at. Right, so I thought I'd do kind of a step-by-step kind of explanation as to each module. So this is part one. So what you'll see is a demonstration of the individual part here, which is the card dispenser. And then I'll make the new one, and then I'll explain the processes of how I went about that in the next video. So this dispenser runs on 5 volts. Now the original brief is that the guy wanted everything to run on 5 volts. But quite limits you on the torque of the stepper motors, I believe. If you know different, then please let me know in the comments. So these are the cheapy stepper motors off eBay. I think they use them in air conditioning to rotate louvers in air conditioning units and things like that. I'll say really cheap, really easy to control. So in this one, I'm using a Atmel AT Tiny 85, and then a ULN 2003 APG chip there to actually drive the stepper motor. I'm just using a micro switch. Words are failing me today. Using a micro switch to sense the position of the wheel. Now, all this wheel is a Lego wheel. Just use what's at hand, and prototyping doesn't need to be expensive. So it's okay. It works, but I think I can improve on that. So we're gonna. And when I'd actually built this, I wanted to add more functionality. So I wanted to know when the hopper or the cartridge was empty. So I added this sensor here. So this runs off to this wire and then just tells my microcontroller at the other end what the state of play is. So if I press this button here, then you'll obviously see. Get a bit closer. So this isn't running 100% right because it's been like boxed for, I don't know how long it's been sat in the loft. Well, actually, it's been in the loft since around about 2015. So 3 years later, and well, it kind of works. And here's the bottom. So when I press that button again, and it's stuck, so let's give it a helping hand. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So with this, obviously you've got the cartridge, and in there is lead weight with 2 cards stuck either side to it, just to get the last card out, really, or the last few cards out. I think it did struggle. I would demonstrate that now, but it's this motor seems to have lost its strength for some reason. Maybe it needs re-greasing or whatever, I don't know, but I'm not prepared to do that on this one because, well, I'm making a new one. So in the bottom is a cutout for the wheel and a cutout for the sensor, and the positioning of this wheel was critical to the bottom here. So when it actually made contact, it didn't put too much pressure, otherwise it would stall the motor out, and not contact enough, it wouldn't push the card out. So if I just push my finger along there, so the idea was it pushed the card out. So the gap that's in here is probably just enough to get this card out. So you could probably do it for the gap as 1.5 cards width, just to make sure there's adequate room for this to come out. On the next version, I'll be doing like a little finger coming down, so it's height adjustable. So if you had cards where it had an emboss on there, then you could adjust it to allow for the emboss, because the emboss does actually add quite a bit of weight. Not weight. What am I talking about? Height. Yeah. The original cards that I actually had to test all this were just these mag strip cards. Perfect for testing. And then for the actual alignment, I actually use my bank card. But I've got a few chip and pin cards now, so let me get these out. What am I doing? So I've got like these Sky cards, BT card. So I've had a few bits that I've taken apart that I've raided the cards out of. So at least now I've got something that I can actually show alignment and things. So yeah, that's about it. I think the new system will run on 12 volts. I'll actually be using easy drive stepper motor drivers, just to kind of simplify things. On the new version as well, I managed to get hold of a photocopier or two, and I have these. And these are the paper pickups, and they have these bearings on. So basically, when they get so far around, it's not frictionless, but it's less friction once it gets round to its non-pickup position. The same with this one. Got these bearings on. So I'll actually be using something. Well, I'll be using one of these in this new version. I have some. These ones have got like plastic bushings on. I've got brass bushings as well. So if I decided to use this one, then I've got brass bushings that I can put in there. I'll be using some type of, I think it's ABS. I can use solvent weld glue. So I have this plastic, and I can solvent weld this. So unlike the old one where I had to use screws, and I think this is acetal, so it's very proper engineering plastic, very expensive, but I cut all this and screwed it all together, whereas the new one will probably be glued together, and the new cartridge will have a door. This one's quite difficult to load. You've almost got to throw them in there perfectly so that they lie flat, whereas the new one will have a door on the back here which you'll be able to open. Actually, this is the front, this is the back. So there'll be a door, so you can open that up and then you place your cards in and then close the door and then put a catch or a pin in there. So yeah, that's the plan for the new one. And yeah, stay tuned. So this is part 1. Part 2 hopefully will be some version of the new one. So stay tuned. So please like, comment, and subscribe for to this channel. And yeah, see you soon.